Brett.
Joseph.
How's it going?
Fabulous. How are you, man?
I'm doing great.
Great.
A couple episodes ago, we were talking about the James Cameron Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
And I really liked talking about that and did some more research into it. And then I thought it would be fun if we just went over like all the abandoned Spider-Man movies.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I don't know. Are you a fan of Spider-Man?
I love the Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
Of the Marvel characters, it's probably my favorite. There's not really a close second, if I'm being honest. Like, I didn't really invest in like Captain America, Iron Man, any of those guys until like
the movies.
MCU, pretty much.
Pretty much. Did you read the comic books or just the movie fans mostly?
Movies mostly, but I've read a few comics. Like, I think the last one I read was Spider-Man, which is like they bring in Miles Morales and it's Peter Parker, so it's like I don't know if it's at all inspired, like, or it at all inspired the Spider-Verse movies, but it's in the same ballpark.
Was that the one where there was vampires who eat Spider-Man or something like that?
Oh, I can't say I recall that.
There was some plot about like vampires who eats multiversal vampires who eat Spider-Man.
That would be fun, actually. I would read that because like bats be eating bugs and shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Does make sense.
Plus, that's the ultimate crossover, like a Batman versus Spider-Man. Those
Morbius.
Are everyone's favorites.
Yeah.
Morbius, also everyone's favorite. Did you see Morbius?
I didn't actually.
I did not either.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't care about these. I guess we'll get to them later, but
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start from the James Cameron Spider-Man because I did some more research into it, and I know we talked about a lot, but I want to talk more about it.
There's more.
Did you research it at all? Or?
I did not at all. I'm gonna need you to anchor this one.
All right, cool. That's that's what I'm good at, is saying a bunch of dumb shit that no one cares about.
That's why we're here.
So obviously, like we said last time, James Cameron, Leonardo DiCaprio, starring in Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. This was in like the mid '90s. This was like the peak of Cameron. This was like pre-peak Cameron, I think.
I was gonna say would this be pre or post Titanic film?
I believe this was pre-Titanic.
That sounds right.
Titanic came out in '98.
Yeah, and this was aimed at like what, 94?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that would be insane.
Yeah, and but this is post Terminator, True Lies,
Terminator 2 probably.
Yeah, T2.
Yeah, that 94. Yeah.
He has such a strange career. If you look at like the movies he made, like Titanic, Terminator, and then Avatar, and then that's just been his sole focus ever since then.
Right. There's no like crossover, like sort of overlapping layers outside of the fact that they're like beautifully like visually enhanced, whether it's computer or like Sam Winston's mechanical crafting. I don't remember the term. Special effects.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, but and he was trying to make Alita Battle Angel. Did you see that?
I have heard about that. Yeah,
he was trying to make that, but it never worked out. And then Robert Rodriguez ended up making it a few years back, and it was like a big bomb.
Oh, that's sad. Robert Rodriguez needs a few W's.
Yeah,
I don't know about those last couple Spy Kids films.
Spy Kids, and then he made like there was like a sequel to Spy Kids, but it's like
it was like a sequel reboot or something. It was like the fourth one. If that's what you're talking about, I could be wrong.
No, there was one a few years ago with Pedro Pascal, and it's like the kids of the Spy Kids.
Oh,
and it's on Netflix, and I didn't see it, but I remember people were like excited because Shark Boy and Lava Girl were in it.
Oh, I did hear there was like a Shark Boy and Lava Girl like sequel or something.
Oh, okay. I'm getting movies confused. It was Shark Boy and Lava Girl, not Spy Kids.
They're all like, I don't even know how to describe those movies. Like green screen AF, of course, but like they're just very colorful and vibrant.
Yeah,
and
but yeah, that was a Spy Kids reboot now with Joel McHale was in it.
That's right. Yeah.
And Cameron Diaz maybe or someone. Jessica Alba, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And he directed a few episodes of The Mandalorian and Boba Fett. So that's sort of what he's been doing lately. But anyways, James Cameron Spider-Man. This is kind of a crazy cast if you look it up. I don't know if this is like official, but I think this is who he wanted.
Did we have John Malkovich's Vulture in this one, or is that a different
this one?
Okay.
Yeah, this is a different one. But he so is Lance Hendrickson as Electro. So Electro and Sandman were going to be the main villains,
right?
And Electro in this version is like a businessman who gets electricity power, and then he wants. It's supposed to be like a capitalism thing. I don't know, but
okay,
yeah, something. Yeah, I don't know.
He's going to control the power grid and hold poor people hostage. Like that.
And Sandman was supposed to be like his muscle, you know, like his right hand.
He's going to break shit and stop people. Makes sense.
But then, you know, James Cameron wanted to have other villains included for sequels. So it was going to have Arnold as Doc Ock.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah. That would have been wild.
That would have been. I think he would have been great. Like,
he's great. I watched Batman and Robin literally 2 nights ago. Just for fun. I watched the Arnold doc. George Clooney because of the Flash, but also I watched the Arnold doc that's now on Netflix, and that was also like, why not?
Yeah.
I don't know if guilty pleasure is the term, but like it's one from the childhood that I rewatched a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually never seen Batman and Robin. That's
really that's very interesting, and like in like a good way. I'm just like, oh, how would you be at your age, go in there and see this movie and be like, wow.
Yeah, if I saw it when I was a kid, I would have loved it.
Right, yeah.
Growing up, you just hear it's such a bad... It's like, you know, it's a meme at this point. Like, everybody hates on Batman and Robin.
It's an entire meme, yeah, right down to the nips.
Yeah, and so, like, I would like to see it just to see, like, what about it, but I feel like just from pop culture, like, I already know all this stuff about it.
You've seen all the highlights for sure.
Yeah.
Being a film guy and also like a comic book guy, I think at some point you should watch it just for entertainment, not for like, oh, you have to see how bad this movie is. Like, no, just if you're ever just kicking your feet up and just hanging out, like, I want to watch a dumb movie.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I'll check it out one of these days.
But no rush though.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so Arnold as Doc Ock, I think he would have. There was multiple versions of the script. Like I was telling you about last time, there was a version where Doc Ock has Spider-Man powers.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
He's trying to hook up with Mary Jane.
Ew.
And yeah, he was like trying to, and his like laboratory. It's something about he flies it into space, and
he flies his laboratory into space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Anything can happen in movies, so I'll allow it.
That's like the climax is like the laboratory is flying and they're like fighting in this like flying laboratory.
Okay.
It was something like that. I didn't fully grasp what.
It sounds like the first 2 Avengers movies to me for some reason. Like they're like I can just see it cinematically.
Yeah.
Just everything's up in the air, literally.
Yeah, pretty much. So Arnold Doc Ock, it was going to star Kevin Spacey as Norman Osborn.
Oh.
Yeah.
At the time, it would have been killer.
This was big K Space,
right? This was
his time.
Era. Yeah,
American Beauty, Usual Suspects.
Yes,
others probably.
Yeah, I would put that in that area.
This was pre-7, which I think is his best role.
I would agree. I mean,
he you know.
I was about to say House of Cards.
Okay, I hadn't seen House of Cards, but just 7 in itself. It's such a great movie.
Yeah, it's a total departure from like a lot of those other things we've seen. So that's what I thought was really cool about it. Just an absolute fucking crazy person.
Yeah,
he plays a crazy person on House of Cards, but in like a presidential way, in like a politician way.
Yeah. But I know I understand the casting choice. I don't think Kevin Spacey as Norman Osborn really makes sense.
It just seems like who's a white guy kind of thing. But it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else in the 90s would have been on and popping for Doc Ock. Tim Allen.
Yeah, I guess. But Tim Allen's like working class. Like
that's true.
You want someone like, I mean, maybe he could do it, but
he'd be more like Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Yeah. I don't know. Just for like Norman Osborn, I expect someone like kind of lanky with slick back hair.
Somebody that looks a bit more intellectual, maybe.
Yeah. With Kevin Spacey, I just don't see it.
No, like I said, Kevin Spacey's just kind of like an average looking person to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna take his wallet, but I'm not afraid of him either.
Yeah.
Oh man, who in the 90s would have been great?
Maybe like a Christian Slater, someone like that.
That would be great.
He's kind of got that like you know, that like businessman energy.
Yeah, he's got the vibe, the look, all of it. I would want to see that over Kevin Spacey, definitely.
Yeah. You know who else has businessman energy? Is Michael Douglas, because Wall Street.
Of course.
Michael Douglas was supposedly cast as J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, really? That would have been great. He would have nailed that.
Yeah.
I was thinking he'd be Uncle Ben for some reason, and I'd be like, what a waste.
Yeah. Yeah, he's... I don't know. I guess he'd be fine. You can really put anyone in that role. It's just kind of yelling.
You can. It's just like...
It is... I think he would have been fine in the role, but it's just... I feel like Michael... Like, especially at the time, he was such a big actor. Like, why would you put him as
You're kind of underutilizing him. Unless J. Jonah's
he's like a major part of the movie.
Right. And that's... I've never read that. I've never seen that story.
Yeah. So. Katharine Hepburn as Aunt May.
Okay. That I can see.
Yeah. And I don't remember who they were going to have as Mary Jane, but just some 90s actress.
So there was a lot of actresses in the 90s.
Yeah, it could have been anyone.
It literally could have. And like casting then was so like...
Yeah.
They weren't as concerned with quality.
Yeah, shit. I forgot I had a timer on.
It's all good.
But
for a James Cameron movie, who do you think he would have cast for Mary Jane? It's pre-Titanic, so Kate Winslet is on the table.
Yeah, I mean, Kate Winslet. I mean, she's got the red hair. She's got, they got chemistry because they've been in 2 movies together.
That's true.
I mean, obviously, this was Titanic and another one which I don't remember, but
oh yeah, it was like 10, 20 years later or something.
But that would have been pretty good.
I can see it.
Okay, so another thing about this movie is going to be a hard R. It was going to...
Really?
I told you about the Mary Jane changing scene, but apparently there was a scene, a sex scene atop the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, yes.
There was multiple uses of fuck and motherfucker and obscenities. There's going to be tons of violence and blood.
Fuck it. New York is back, baby.
Yeah. I mean... I never envisioned Spider-Man as being like the rated R character.
No, not at all. So
it is like strange that that's the character they would want to go rated R with.
Yeah, that's a huge, not a huge turn, I guess, but like he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Who's calling him a motherfucker?
He was saying it.
Oh,
yeah,
that's even sadder.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Why is he MFing people?
In an era where we get our Logans and our rated R Batmans and everything like that, I would be keen on seeing a rated R Spider-Man now, just because like I just want to see everything. But if your first Spider-Man movie is going to be a rated R Spider-Man movie, that is a strange choice.
That is true. That would have been the first. Yeah. Wow. That would have been very
wild. Like
if
Tim Burton's Batman was rated R.
Right.
That movie would make more sense to be rated R, but also who would see in '89 a rated R Batman movie?
That's the thing. Plus, like, these are, at the end of the day, these are comic book characters, and you're kind of alienating your like target audience, which at the time at least was primarily children.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's pretty much everyone, but back then specifically, the people who were 50 and up didn't give a fuck about Batman.
Right. Well, especially like that's why Batman and Robin happened, is because they wanted to make movies for kids, and so they're like, let's make action figures.
Yeah,
like,
let's make a toy commercial 90 minutes, or actually it's a good 2 hours and 2 minutes long.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I really took away from what little research I did on. Would you be into this movie?
I would definitely see this.
Yeah.
Would I prefer it over this Raimi verse, or what do we call this? The Webb verse, the Garfield verse,
the Amazing verse,
right? And then MCU. Probably not. But I mean, I don't know. I have notes for all 3 universes, honestly.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Raimi.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a good segue, because we can get to the Raimi film. Raimi also had an abandoned Spider-Man picture. So obviously, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, they had announced, and they were going to do a 4th Spider-Man picture.
It was going to happen.
Obviously, because of the, negative reviews from the third Spider-Man movie, and I think Sam Raimi was just kind of done with it at this point.
That's, I believe, what I heard too.
He was done with like doing the studio thing, which I probably would have been too if I was in his shoes. That he didn't really have a lot of control in that one.
Not really, no. Especially once it got once the Beast was born. It was sequel. Now it's way bigger than any one director can control.
I know he didn't want to have Venom. I think he didn't want to have New Goblin, or maybe he did. I know he just wanted to have one villain in the movie.
Yeah, I know he did not want as many villains as there was in the third one.
And he especially didn't want Venom, but they really wanted Venom to be in that movie.
Right, because Venom is debatably the most, one of the most popular things to come out of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I won't say most popular villain or whatever because it's gray area.
Yeah.
I do recall all that nonsense. It's wild. I remember our boy Bruce Campbell was supposed to be Mysterio as well, officially be Mysterio.
Well, yeah. So this movie had a similar issue as Spider-Man 3, where it was villain heavy. So, like you said, Bruce Campbell as Mysterio, but I think that was going to be more of a cameo role.
Right. I believe, if I recall correctly, it was just going to be him. He was already arrested. He was being sentenced, or not sentenced. He was being carried to jail to be booked.
He has a fishbowl hat on, and then it's revealed as Bruce Campbell. And he had a cameo in all the other Spider-Man movies, right. So it was was Bruce Campbell Mysterio the whole time, or are these all different characters? That would have been a fun sort of Easter egg, but so there was going to be a number of other villains. The main villain was going to be Dylan Baker's Lizard.
Oh, yes.
So he was in Spider-Man 2 and 3 playing Dr. Kirk Connors.
Yes.
And this was going to be his lizard transformation. And so the movie was going to focus on his and Spider-Man's relationship, which that's essentially the Green Goblin story and the Doc Ock story and the Harry Osborn story.
Yes, we've kind of seen it before, or heard it before. Kind of a side note, but not. It's still on subject.
Yeah.
I watched Spider-Man. I watched the Raimi-verse movies recently, and I noticed in the first one that Peter Parker gets fired from Dr. Connor's internship or something.
Okay.
And then in the second movie, he's just a student. So I was like, oh, and I wonder how awkward that was.
Yeah.
Be hey, remember when you fired me? Now I'm paying. Now I'm paying to be near you.
But then, by the third movie, they're working together.
Yeah,
again,
no, they're boys. It's fine.
That might. Yeah, I didn't know that. I haven't seen those movies in a long time, so that I don't know. That might have just been a mistake or a little reference that they did with
total continuity error. It's hey, we might get more of these.
Yeah. So it was also going to star, as you alluded to, John Malkovich as the Vulture, and Anne Hathaway. There was some talk about she was going to play the Vulture's daughter. The Vulturess, but I think Sam Raimi came out and said no, she was going to be Black Cat.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
wow, that'd have been wild.
I mean, obviously, I think she's great in everything, and she was
wonderful.
great as Catwoman, so it makes sense. She Black Cat, Catwoman. It's the same character,
pretty much. Yeah, and I think that definitely would have been before Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises was 2013.
I would say by probably 5 years.
Yeah. Or 2012, I think.
That sounds right.
But both of those pretty great comic book casting roles. I don't know how. So the description of the Vulture is he's working these government contracts and he's doing shady business and Vulture stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they would have tackled all these characters. The Rhino was also supposed to appear in it.
That's right. Yeah. So it would have been even more bloated than 3.
Yeah. I remember at the time when it was announced, I was in elementary. I don't even think I was in middle school. I might have been. I don't remember. But people saying that there was a leaked trailer where Spider-Man died. Obviously that was fake because nothing was shot.
Right.
I don't even think the script was finalized. But yeah, I remember there was a rumor going around Spider-Man was going to die in Spider-Man 4.
Another side tangent. Do you ever if you're ever on the social medias and you see people fall for fake movie posters and fake trailers,
I see that a lot.
It irks me to my core.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh my God, this is my favorite movie ever. I can't wait to see this. If it's your favorite movie ever, how come you didn't know it was coming out?
Yeah.
You would have heard about the green light from day one.
Yeah. Like, yeah, people tell me, because people know, like, I'm a comic book guy, I'm a movie guy. People will tell me, like, oh, I saw a trailer online for the new Justice League movie. And I'm like, there's no Justice League movie. And they're like, no, I saw it. And then they show it to me, and it's just clips of Man of Steel and Dark Knight Rises.
And it's just all super cut. It's like, no, babe.
Yeah.
This is not new.
This is obviously fake.
I've just, having been on chronically online as long as I've been, it just never goes away. People just never learn. Yeah. And it just baffles me to my core.
Another, like, social media superhero tangent, real quick, is I get a lot of comic book news like on my feeds, and so it's almost like a race to who can put out this spoiler first, and it's so fucking frustrating.
I get that,
where it's just like, leaked set photo, I posted it first, look at this leaked set photo of Harrison Ford, like, oh my goodness, like, I can't. And it's like, just wait for the movie to come out. Why are we rushing for these spoilers? No one's gonna enjoy the movie when it's out.
Yeah. My good friend, during like all the Star Wars sequels, he would look up every single spoiler possible. I think at some point he got his hands on the script, and I was like, I never want to go into anything that knowledgeable. Like, I especially something I care a lot about, like a movie like a Star Wars, or like they don't make sequels to this, but like Back to the Future. If they were, I'd be like, I don't want to know fucking shit.
Yeah. It's like, every day there's some leak or there's some news, and then everybody has to post about it. And it's like, I want to see the movie. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I don't want to know that Ant-Man is going to have a cameo and, whatever. I don't need to know that stuff.
Yeah, I don't either. I hate that shit. Yeah. A lot of it, I kind of learned like non-consensually, whatever the proper word is.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is you stumble upon it.
Right. It's not like pages I follow or like or whatever. It's like recommended pages, and like, oh, here's their newest article, and it's like the one thing you didn't want to know.
Yeah. I'll get like Marvel, like, Spanish news.
Me too.
It'll
always
be like all in Spanish.
Even on TikTok, I'm like, no habla.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll just be like a big picture of like a spoiler, like, and then it's all in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the
same thing. It's at least like half of the nerd shit. I mean, it's fallen off a little bit. I'll give my algorithm that. But at one point, it was like, no, a lot of these are in Spanish.
Not that Spanish people can't be fans of Marvel movies,
no,
but it's just like, why are you telling me this? I don't even speak this language.
Right, no comprendo.
Yeah. This is one more side tangent. I had come across the leaked Deadpool 3 plot. Have you seen this?
I've stumbled across, not like on purpose. I'm sure it's gonna be great. It's not. I like Deadpool movies, but it's not like my passion,
Yeah.
So whatever happens, cool, I'll see it.
Yeah.
But I've seen a few different things, so I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't know what to believe, so I'm just gonna wait till I see it.
It is very. I mean, from the leaked plot that I had come across, it seemed very like MCU heavy.
Yeah.
Which, like the TVA was in it.
Yeah.
And, that's fine, but it's just, I don't know. I'm getting sick and tired of these multiverses, man.
Just today I heard, talking is hard. I saw a like tweet or something saying Ben Affleck rumored to cameo in Deadpool 3 as Matt Murdock.
Yeah, all these fucking like rumor. Who is telling you this rumor? Like,
that's the other thing. There's too many sources these days. I've noticed too.
Okay, back to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. Of all like the abandoned Spider-Man projects, this one I'm kind of the least interested in, just because. As enjoyable as those movies are, I think Spider-Man 2 is the best like Spider-Man movie, but it's just like after Spider-Man 3, I feel like that's where the story ends.
Yeah.
His best friend dies. Him and his girlfriend kind of reconcile.
Right.
And this movie apparently was going to like show them reconcile. That was gonna be like the Peter Parker plot.
those movies. The only thing about those movies I do not like is the Peter Parker Mary Jane relationship. Not because they're together. It's because there's so much.
They keep on breaking up and getting back together. I do
love you.
She almost gets married.
Yeah, like in 2 specifically, I'm like, there's way too much fucking ass grab here. Like just fuck already.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't too interested in seeing this movie, and it just sounded like a mess. From, I think I'm one of the few people who really enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man pictures.
I also did too. Like I think I've told you at least off camera, but I find it very hard to find a movie to be bad.
Yeah,
it's like I'm going to be entertained. And chances are I'm going to be entertained when I'm going to be entertained. So, I think 3 was right where it needed to end because, like you said, best friend's dead. We've gone through most of the more interesting villains. Honestly,
he got closure on Uncle Ben's murder.
Right. It's like there's not a whole lot we can dive into. Yeah. So to go into we're gonna focus on Peter and Mary Jane fixing it and figuring it out. I'm even more not interested.
Yeah. This movie doesn't come out, but they want to do this Spider-Man thing because Spider-Man makes money,
right?
And we need to have more Spider-Man movies. Mm-hmm. So this is where the famous Donald for Spider-Man, campaign, sort of came from. Would you have liked to have seen that?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
because it was like kind of. It wasn't like written for him, right? I feel like
the Spider-Man movie. No, I don't think it was.
The movie, I was thinking just the Miles Morales character.
I think it wasn't written for him, but I think it was written based off of him or because of him.
That sounds better because of him, right?
I mean he's great in everything. Mm-hmm. I think he would have been great as Spider-Man.
100%.
It's obvious why they didn't do it,
right?
And it's I don't think he would have done a better or a worse job than Andrew Garfield. I'll just say that.
No,
he would have been an interesting choice. He's just,
Andrew, I thought nailed those movies.
He was really great,
and the fact that I don't know if I've never met him. I don't know him, but I don't know if he first. Wow, he kind of took it hard when 2 didn't succeed the way they wanted it to, and they just were like, oh well, Marvel's blowing up. Yeah, we're just gonna fuck around with them. Yeah. And I just don't understand how that kind of blame fell on him. Yeah.
That is kind of because I know with Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, it was like their dream to play Spider-Man.
Right, yeah.
But with Tobey Maguire, it seems like he just doesn't really give it. He tried to quit Spider-Man 2, and he just was trying to get out of those movies.
I watched, I think it was on Looper, I think one of those YouTube channels that just covers movies and pop culture things. And they were covering people who are difficult to work with on set, and Toby made the cut.
Yeah, that's what I've heard that a bit too.
I can't say I retained a lot of the interesting set stories, but it sounds like he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think a lot of people say it suffers the same issue with Spider-Man 3, where it's just too many villains and too much going on.
I don't agree with that, really, because we didn't get Hobgoblin until the last 10 minutes of the movie, maybe?
I think that was my sort of biggest issue with that movie, was that they tried to do They tried to do an Electro story and a Green Goblin story, and the death of Gwen Stacy, and so there was
in a movie that's already 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with having a lot of villains in the movie. I have more problem with they waited until the last act to introduce the main villain and to do the big thing.
That's 100%. Yeah, I think that's 100% valid. I forgot my point.
Well, okay, so the Spider-Man 3, there's not much known about what the story was going to be, because I think almost a year or two after is when Civil War came out, and Spider-Man obviously was in that, so it wasn't. I think just right off the bat they were just like, we don't want to do this. But there is a little bit that we knew, is that at the end of the movie, Green Goblin's in this secret basement where we have Doc Ock arms and vulture wings and a rhino machine.
That's the point I forgot. I was going to bring up the Sinister Six, the movie that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, so there was supposed to be a spin-off Sinister Six movie, which they are kind of doing right now.
Oh, really?
But we'll get to that in a minute.
Is that Sony side?
Yeah, Sony
That's what
side.
I thought. Okay.
So, so they're trying to introduce all these villains. There was like a deleted plot. This is what I was saying with the too many plots, that there is a Norman Osborn's frozen head in the basement.
Frozen head, like Walt Disney?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So Norman Osborn dies at the beginning of the movie, and so Harry Osborn becomes a Green Goblin. But there's a deleted scene. You can see stills of it. I don't know if there's an actual scene where Norman Osborn's like frozen head is also in the basement. And I don't know if they were setting it up that he was going to become the Green Goblin in a future movie, or if that was like a symbolic thing, or...
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, my jaw is on the floor. Fucking frozen head. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, I don't know what the plan was with that. It did seem like they had a plan of what they wanted to do, though, because, they had... In the end of the first movie, there was the Man in Black, they called him, and he
definitely had like a goblin voice, or at least it seemed like it at the time.
Well, he was trying to like recruit the Sinister Six, and I think this is what it is.
He started with the Lizard Man.
Yeah, he went to visit the lizard in prison and tells him like, "Oh, like I'm gonna come get you."
Right, and he was also like, "Did you tell him about his father?"
Yeah, and so that's another deleted scene is that his father survived.
Yeah, that I also did want to bring up. That's probably my biggest beef with that universe is like, why are the parents alive? Why is dad alive at least?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't in the final movie, so I think they made the right choice by not including it. But it was why did the decision? Why was that?
The stuff with like the suitcase and stuff. I was like, what is this for?
Yeah.
Like I just maybe I'm just not remembering that part of the movie, but I just didn't.
No, I mean, you are right.
Don't recall why that was necessary for the film.
There was like a version in the comics where Spider-Man's parents were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And so I think they were trying to do like that sort of thing. But yeah, it was like it. You don't need to like give Spider-Man's parents like a background. Like,
no, like Uncle Ben is dead. Bruce Wayne's parents get shot in an alley. Like these things are just keep them the way they are. It's not a what if episode.
So yeah, this, I would have been interested in seeing this one because I was big on these movies. I didn't like the second one as much as the first one, but I was keen on seeing the third one just because I wanted to see what they were going to do with it, because they introduced so many things. They hinted at Venom and Kraven at one point in the movie, and so I would have liked to have seen all these things sort of come up. But
me too. I remember when the trailer for Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. That was the first trailer I ever watched, like trailer breakdowns on YouTube that are like a half hour long.
Yeah,
I actually sat through one of those and was like, I can't wait to see all of this.
This might have been the first movie that like those start, because I do remember from that trailer there was so much, and people would just like scour through that to see as much details as they could get from that movie.
Right? Yeah, because thinking about it now, there really wasn't trailer culture, I guess, wasn't as like big. Like I think only trailers I remember dropping that were huge back in that time period was like Dark Knight Rises era.
But all those movies, just like they were pretty straightforward from the trailers, whereas this, it was like, oh, if you look in the background, there's like a code, and if you read the code, it's like the first, like it's an issue of like the Amazing Spider-Man, and it's the introduction of the Rhino, and the Rhino is going to be, so it was like, a lot of that sort of stuff, and people were like, this is when that started to really boom.
Yeah, I love that I love that they took that approach, because it's like, oh, we give a fuck about the fans. We're not just people from Hollywood trying to make a buck.
Yeah,
not all of them, at least. I'm sure at least a few are.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's so. Amy Pascal is the gal who has been running all these Spider-Man movies ever since the beginning, and a lot of people, she's been getting a lot of hate because of she's gatekeeping. That's what they say. She's gatekeeping Spider-Man because of all these like rights negotiation.
I see.
And
I was going to say Spider-Man's everywhere. How is that gatekeeping? But yeah, I get that. Gatekeeping
like the rights, and like in the Marvel movie, he almost wasn't allowed to be in Marvel movies anymore. But then they have like a new deal.
Yeah, Tom Holland drunk called Bob Iger or something.
Something about that.
I was like, I would love to hear that conversation.
But now Tom Holland is saying like he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Right, I noticed that too. I'm like, make up your mind, dude.
Yeah. That might just be a money grab, like just a...
maybe.
Because I saw something online about how he was like one of the lowest... I mean, the lowest, like, still like in millions, but like one of the lower paid Avengers cast.
I believe it.
So that could be, what he's doing is just trying to like, oh, maybe I won't come back unless you guys give me...
That I can 100% see. Because outside of Spider-Man...
Yeah.
It's his age. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Because he just doesn't have the IMDb resume that everyone else does. The Chris Evanses, the RDJs, the Scarlett Johanssons, the Anthony Mackies. Nobody has a resume like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of the great stuff.
Him and Chadwick have done every biopic ever.
Yeah. So that obviously they wanted to do the Sinister Six spinoff, which... I was confused when I heard about that because I was like, is Spider-Man going to be in this? Or
I remember that feeling that way too.
Yeah. Oh, Felicity Jones plays Felicia, but it's never specified if she's Black Cat. I don't think they say her last name.
That sounds right, yeah.
And so she might have been Black Cat.
They were teeing her up, I think.
Yeah. And so that was, they were going to make a Black Cat Silver Sable spinoff movie.
That's right, yeah.
Called Black and Silver. And I think that still might be something they're working on.
I was going to say, I feel like that comes up once in a while, so who knows, maybe.
Who knows if that's... They were going to make an Aunt May prequel movie. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that, yeah. That sounds just like the Pennyworth show.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I didn't ask for that.
And because there was an Aunt May prequel comic where apparently she was she secretly Spider-Man's mom.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the details.
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge it. Why not?
I don't want to see an Aunt May movie.
I have no desire to see an Aunt May movie. Unless it's Marissa Tomei just like, I don't know, cleaning her house. I would watch that.
I guess. They can make like a one shot of it. Yeah, they can make a what are they, like the Disney Plus specials that they're doing now?
Like it's just like an hour long.
Just Marissa Tomei hanging out.
Just vacuuming, dusting,
who'd love that?
Cooking.
George Costanza.
George Costanza would love that.
George Costanza would love that.
Good for him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, so now they're making all these Spider-Man villain movies. I think the idea is to set it up a Sinister Six movie, but the thing is there's no Spider-Man in these movies. So there's 2 Venoms, 1 Morbius, and Vulture apparently has a cameo in Morbius. I didn't see it. I don't know.
I think I saw just like somebody recorded in a theater.
Yeah. There's Kraven the Hunter, which is coming out later this year.
Yes, I believe the trailer dropped the other day.
There's a Madam Web movie coming out with Dakota Johnson.
Yes, and some other high profile.
Sydney Sweeney.
That one, yes.
Yeah. But it's not Madam Web in like a big chair. She's like Spider-Woman in this movie. And then Sydney Sweeney is also playing a younger Spider-Girl or Spider-Woman.
Some kind of spider...
one of the other Spider-Womens.
Almost went female. I'm like, no, canceled. Yes, one of the Spider-Womens.
I'm trying to think if there's any more... They've definitely announced more. I just don't...
They did announce. I don't know if this was on the Disney side or the Sony side, but they did announce at one point that rapper Bad Bunny was going to be Spider-Man.
Oh, that's right, El Muerto.
But they just took it off the schedule.
Yeah, there was going to be an El Muerto movie. I think Bad Bunny had stepped down from it. I think
probably. I have friends who really love him. I can't say I know too much about him.
I don't know too much about him either.
When it got announced for him, I was like, oh, good for him. That's fucking huge.
Yeah, I think El Muerto was like a character who only appeared in 1 issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they were just kind of like, not worth it.
And then they were going to do some other character that was going to be like a Donald Glover, some like other minor Spider-Man villain, but it was going to be a Donald Glover movie. But I guess that has been canned too because he was the Prowler in Spider-Man Homecoming, so I think they want to do something with that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense. I hope they do. They gotta get him in there besides just the little Spider-Verse thing.
But those are all the abandoned Spider-Man movies. I would say I want to see the James Cameron the most.
Yes.
The Marc Webb the second most, and least interested in the Sam Raimi one.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Do you concur?
I would say so. I'm very interested. I would love to see something from the Marc Webb verse. Because at post No Way Home, there was talks of possibly making a new Amazing Spider-Man 3. So
yeah,
out of the 3 universes, that's kind of the one I would like to see the most.
Yeah. I think they're saying like in Secret Wars, there might be in Secret War, or in the next Spider-Verse movie, they might show up in Spider-Verse.
Right.
So,
I'll take
the door is open
get.
with the Spider-Mans. We'll keep seeing Toby and Andrew probably for a long time.
Probably. I think at least Andrew is down for most things.
Okay, the battery's running low on this thing, but I have one more kind of funny story I just remembered. Is right around the time, I don't remember if this was right after or around the time of No Way Home, Marvel had posted like an image of a webbed up 4, like the number 4, and it was like all on webs, and everyone was freaking out, and they were like, it's confirmed, like Spider-Man 4, like this is the confirmation. And then the next day they posted a webbed up 3 and then a 2 and a 1, and then everyone was like, oh, it's going to be a trailer or something. And then it was J.J. Abrams announced he was writing a Spider-Man comic.
That's
and everyone
all it
was so disappointed. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a blue ball.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And you could tell Marvel was kind of really regretting, like, why would they start with 4?
Right? Yeah, that's also really weird. Who starts at 4? My last side thing. You brought up George Costanza earlier.
Right.
I think for the Jim Cameron universe that Jason Alexander should play Rhino.
That'd be
because I don't think we discussed the actor playing him, so why not?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I love it.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Big peace.